And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for the technical difficulties momentarily there, but everything should be back in order. We are currently following with last week's winner, the first and only winner so far in the Stock Car Championship Series. That would be Tony Stewart here in the number 20. So he is coming into pit lane at the moment, so we're going to jump back to Yarborough, who had a great run as well, now third in points himself. Only behind Jimmy Johnson, who's in second, and Tony Stewart, who just made his way to pit lane. Got 10 more minutes left in warm-up session here. We'll go ahead and move up to current quickest, be David Pearson. Running the old throwback scheme, doesn't have a grill on this machine, but it doesn't seem like he needs one with the speed he's been able to put out. Passed currently by Adele Senior. Did not have the week he was hoping for last week, but turned it into a decent finish in the end. Currently following behind Carl Edwards in the Aflac number 99. Jeff Gordon now quickest overall at 29.062, 6,000ths of a second faster than David Pearson. He's got some clean air on the nose and falling behind a pretty quick car in Bill Elliott, currently 10th overall, so not going to slow him up much. Even Kyle Larson behind him in 4th. Should anticipate a lot of green flag racing in today's event. 250 laps, 250 miles. But what we saw in the practice race was pure green flag racing, practically. It was hard to come by a caution. Delsey making his way back out. See Bubba Wallace running with Michael Waltrip. Got Dale Jarrett and Alan Kulwicki just behind him. Last week's pole sitter off there in the distance, that would be Kyle Busch. See how he does today. He'll back up that qualifying run. Let's see where Kyle is currently running. Let's see. This pulling up. That should help him. We see Kyle Busch actually in 9th at the moment. Just like that. A couple cars making their way to pit lane. Jumping out of this small pack. Jeff Burton, Mark Martin back here. See as the cars make their way into turn 3, Richard Petty. There's about 5 minutes now left in warm-up. Gordon riding with Tony Stewart. Let's go ahead and catch up with that. So last week's winner and currently quickest in the session here in the shot. Tony Stewart currently 16th overall. See Tony pulling away a bit. Gordon on his first set of tires, so just falling off on the longer run. Truex Jr. out on his installation lap, trying to get things in order. He's still well back in the field, 32nd currently. Kyle Petty 1.8 off. He hasn't got a lap in yet. See if we can find maybe a few other cars, put in some action here in practice. Ricky Rudd, Earnhardt Sr., Carl Edwards, Joel Logano, Kurt Busch. Should be pretty quick with those fresh tires here in just a moment. See Rudd 37th, so needs to find some speed before qualifying. Logano was very quick last week. Couldn't quite come away with the full, that's what I'm looking for. Couldn't quite seal the deal. He had 30 laps actually last week, only second to Logano and Yarborough, who had 42. But it's coming to an end. I need to warm up, obviously. So getting in the groove here of practice. Three very quick cars here. Dale Sr., Joey Logano, Logano and Yarborough. Bottle Bunny pretty quick here. Imagine he'll be around the top 20 overall. Yarborough running 11th, you see on screen. Dale Sr. 7th and Logano 3rd. Kurt Busch, now those tires coming up to temperature, he's 8th overall, but could even improve on that here with this next lap. Looks like he'll actually slow down as he's really gaining on Yarborough quickly. Just a minute and a half left before qualifying. As up here, Kurt Busch is actually going to head to pit lane. He's trying to put in a qualifying lap, but got interrupted there. There's quickest overall. Jeff Gordon, just a minute left. Just going to see if he can maybe put in a qualifying lap, I guess. Really late in this practice session. Should be able to get at least one lap in, but it will be held up momentarily, at least by Logano and Yarborough. See, tires make a huge difference here, so when you make that pit stop and maybe when a caution comes out, things like that can really impact how this race plays out. You can have one of the fastest cars all day, but leave very quickly. Lead can be very fleeting. Wraps up our warm-up session. Jeff Gordon, quickest overall, David Pearson, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Richard Petty, your top 5. Top 7, all within a 1/10. That includes Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt. You got Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, and Bill Elliott, your top 10. From there on back, it's 2/10 out from first, so see who comes away with the pole here in just a moment. Cars loading in. Stick with Jeff Gordon, who again was quickest in warm-up. If anybody goes quicker than Gordon, we'll go ahead and move to their lap and follow along with the quickest as the session moves along. About to get the green flag though real quick here on the short 1 mile oval. You don't get much time to warm up these tires, so their second, third lap definitely going to be the quickest. Fourth lap could sneak in there, but typically it's going to be that third lap especially. Here comes Jeff Gordon, his first lap. Had a decent run last week. I believe he came in with a top 5 at Michigan. Did not lead any laps, however. Across the line, first lap in the books for Jeff Gordon. Or does that set him early on? Richard Petty really quick early. He's got a 29.437. Dale Sr. right there in second. Into turn 3. Comes the King off of 4. Lap 2 in the books. Looks like Larson might be quickest now. Kyle Larson to the top. Logano second, Yarborough third, Bobby Allison fourth. Right in the high line a little there through 3 and 4, finding that cushion. Something that Kyle Larson is very capable of. Is this lap quicker? No, it is not. And Jimmy Johnson goes quicker, but looks like the only car to really improve on that lap. So Larson, Logano, Jimmy Johnson, Yarborough, Earnhardt Sr., your top 5. And I don't know that we'll see that change. Quickest in practice, Jeff Gordon, he's 10th. Larson crosses. Anyone get under 29.1? Yarborough went quicker, but stays 4th. That's it. Kyle Larson on pole here at New Hampshire. Incredible run for the number 5 Valvoline Hendrick car. No changes in the top 5. You saw Yarborough go 8 thousandths of a second quicker on that last lap. Kawicki a bit further back maybe than he hopes. We'll see how this race goes for a few of these guys in the bag. Not the qualifying maybe they were hoping for. But we'll go through the field here before we get underway. You can see where your favorite driver is starting. Field's going to take to the front straightaway. Got the iRacing.com blimp in the sky here. Bit of a cloudy day, not completely overcast, but enough to definitely maybe affect the tire wear and have some hot and cold spots, kind of like a pool in the middle of summer. Here we go through the field. Your pole sitter Kyle Larson alongside second place Joey Logano. You got Jimmy Johnson, Cale Yarborough, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, your top 10. Go through the rest of the field again, see where your favorite driver is starting. Got Darrell Waltrip and Mark Martin next to each other here, about 15th. Denny Hamlin had a great run early on last week at Michigan. Came home with I believe a top 10, so just outside. Earnhardt Jr. back here. Truex a bit further back than he maybe hopes. And a lot of the back markers typically you'll see here in the Stock Car Championship Series, but always competitive. Finishing out the last row, you see Ken Schrader and Kyle Petty. Back to the front of the field. Go ahead and get this race underway. Cars starting up their engine. Pace car about to pull away. There's Larson, Logano, leading the field here for the one and only pace lap at the mile oval. A lot at stake here at New Hampshire, setting the tone early on in the season. This is huge. 36 races in total this season. This is only the second. But when you have a track like this, you need to make sure you make the most of it. These are ones that you don't see much attrition. So the fastest guys will be at the front and typically stay at the front. Variables somewhat non-existent, you could say. We'll have lap traffic, but the passing is definitely doable here. Pace car pulling off to pit lane. Green flag in the air here at New Hampshire. Kyle Larson leads the field. Jimmy Johnson slots in the second row all by himself as Yarborough did not get a good start. And really fanning out about mid-pack. Larson, though, will clear Logano and be on his own at the front of the field. Logano clears for second. To the top two now. Oh, Jimmy Johnson, though, going to make it a race off of 4, and Logano already pitting. Looks like Logano maybe got a penalty on the start. Wow. So a drive-through penalty for Joey Logano, beating Larson to the line. See how that impacts the rest of his race. Big moment, though, for Joey Logano. Good battle for about 6th place. Bobby Allison, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Now, the question for Logano becomes, how much can he salvage of this day? He's not out of it at all. He could definitely still come over the top 20, if not even top 15. Tony Stewart really aggressive through the middle there, knocking Jeff Gordon out of his spots. David Pearson's going to follow suit. Gordon in a bit of trouble. Sideways contact between the two number 17 cars. Pearson and Darrell still 3 wide. Gordon's in a lot of trouble out there. There's no grip yet. Finally, they single out to double file. And that's going to help Jeff Gordon so he can maybe get a run. Get back in line here. Darrell Waltrip's going to lose a bit of time. And Gordon now back to the inside. See if we can get back to the front here with our leader. Larson's still up in front by about half a second over Jimmy Johnson. Go a little further back, another half second. Got Earnhardt. Yarborough and Richard Petty. That's a great battle here for third. Bobby Allison and Tony Stewart looking to close that gap on these guys. As I mentioned, the field really spreading out already. Keep an eye here as we come out of exit of turn 2. Cale Yarborough actually with the quickest lap of the race at a 29.371. Only car looks like to be under the 29.4 threshold. There's Kyle Busch now making the pass on his teammate Tony Stewart. Or should I say pseudo teammate? Tony Stewart actually teammates with Bobby Labonte if we're getting specific. Tony Stewart holds the position on keeps 7th place for the time being. Kyle Busch definitely seems to have a quicker car, so how long will he wait and be patient? Someone who at least has some respect for out there on track. There you go to the outside, that right rear, but can't quite make enough of a run to make this pass complete. Really close there through turn 2, almost hitting door to door. Staying right on the right rear, holding on, Kyle Busch. This is really wearing out the tires of Tony Stewart in the process. Bit of a better run this time by from Kyle Busch. Stewart maintains his gap, and now Jeff Gordon trying to get back to the front after his early mistake. Joey Logano as well, starting to track down the tail end of the field. It's only half a lap behind, a little more. Not out of this race by any means. Here goes Gordon to the outside of David Pearson. Trying to get some headlights on that Ford in the future. It's just, for whatever reason, we don't have them in the actual paint job. When I try to add them, they just don't stay. So, do what we can. Same issue with Logano's car, actually. But you see now Gordon around Pearson. Going to focus his sights on this battle, which continues to brew with Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch. See if we can go on board with Jeff Gordon here for just a moment. Go to the roof cam. Make it official here. He tracks down. Oh, you see Kyle Busch makes the pass into turn 3. Gets clear of Tony Stewart. Stewart does not have the momentum to get back to the high side. That's great news for Kyle Busch too, because he knew that Gordon was tracking these guys down quickly. Joey Logano has now caught up to the rear end of the field. See how quickly Logano can maneuver the traffic here. These are all 4 positions, so they will not be just rolling over. Know that he's quicker, but in fact by a second is their best lap time. 29.4 to a 30.4. See Logano looking inside here into 3. Is he gonna go? And he does. Huge run off of 2, and Kyle Petty just knows he has more of this race to fight for. Go back to this battle for 3rd. It's now been joined by Bobby Allison, and they're in fact even closing on 2nd, Jimmy Johnson. The groove in turn 1 really starting to set there on the inside. One thing we didn't do at the start of today's race was check the weather. Let's get a look here. 8-mile-an-hour winds, 75 degrees and 90 degree track temp. That is about perfect. A little breezier than normal, but I don't think anybody's complaining out there in the grandstands. Richard Petty, he's making it a battle off of turn number 2. Yarborough not going to give up the inside yet, but Petty has the outside off of 4, and he's there. Yarborough going to probably have to give up this spot and may lose one to Bobby Allison if he's not careful. Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon creeping into the picture. And quite the gap back to David Pearson. Larson now pulling away by about 1.5 seconds. Just set the button to cruise control and not looking back. Joey Logano, in the meantime, he gets up to 34th, so been able to get around quite a few of those lap cars already. Bobby Allison should complete that pass, and in the meantime, Yarborough is in trouble. Here's Logano, he's on the outside. If he gets clear of Jeff Burton, he could really start to set his sights on a huge gap now, and really trying to get back in this race. This is going to be a story to watch all day. He's now up to 32nd after 20 laps and a drive-through penalty. Kyle Larson still leads. Got a healthy lead back to Jimmy Johnson. Then you got Bobby Allison, who's not able to complete the pass here on Cale Yarborough. And is now joined by Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon biding his time a little bit. Fuel run will be about 50 laps, so keep an eye on that as well, as we're about halfway on a fuel run now. Everyone really kind of mellowing out at the moment. Tires starting to wear in more and more. Not allowing these cars the ability to pass as easily. The grip just not there on these long runs. Kyle Larson slowly closing in on lap traffic, while Logano has now caught the next group of cars. He's trying to get into the top 30. A Larson, and then 2 seconds back to Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt. Anything gets tighter there up front with Johnson, Earnhardt, Richard Petty, we will flash to that. Petty is closing on Earnhardt, so we'll check there in a moment. All right, let's just go on board right now here with the King. So he has closed the gap on the Intimidator to the rear bumper. Two of the greatest in stock car racing, NASCAR specifically. Going out of here with 7-time champ just ahead, Jimmy Johnson. That's what the Stock Car Championship Series is all about. Getting the best against the best. Now to see if anyone has a challenge for Kyle Larson out front. Nice pass here set up by Petty though. He's going to get around Earnhardt in a lap or two. Move like that was very nice to set up to the outside here in turn 2. Now going to clear off of 4. Richard Petty, he's got a quick car. Earnhardt slots back in, doesn't lose more than 1 spot for the time being. A nice save on his part. Looks like Jeff Gordon might be looking for a move as well back here, so keep an eye on these guys. And Kyle Larson still closing in on the lap down traffic. Kyle Petty going to be first. Go to a wider shot here, give you a better idea of how this traffic is shaping up in front of our leader. And just the gap, he's already amassed back to second. Petty is going to get around Jimmy Johnson momentarily, and that could close this a bit, but Larson does not have much to worry about here. Got about 20 laps now until pit stops. Got both Richard Petty and Jeff Gordon looking for ways around here in the top 10. Trying to continue their push to the front of the field. If Richard Petty gets around Jimmy Johnson, I think he's one of the few cars that could have something for Larson. You see, first car going a lap down just in turns 3 and 4 there. That's going to be Kyle Petty. Just opens up the inside and not much of a fight for Larson. If you're second place, third place, you want to see it held up a little more maybe, but right now, the one that's doing the holding up is Jimmy Johnson. Tires have fallen off that 48 machine. And we have a caution. Look at this. Yeah, that is the 18. Excuse me, the Bobby Labonte here. Let's take a look 3 wide. Terry Labonte goes up. Oh! Hit check into the wall. It's like just nowhere then for Bobby Labonte to go. Just so much damage. Contact with Truex and stalls it out here on the back straightaway. So pace car picks up our leader. 1 car went a lap down. You'll get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. See if we have any pit stops here. We should, I imagine. Past halfway of his first stint. But with the AI, you just never know how they're going to race. And you see many cars do not pit. In fact, the top 15, I would say. And you got Denny Hamlin, the first car in. Darrell Waltrip, Kurt Busch, everybody on back. They're going to make their stop. Including Joey Logano. So, this is a big moment, I think. We should have had more cars probably take to pit lane. We'll watch the race here off of pit lane, if there is one. Kurt Busch was the first car to come down, or was it Denny Hamlin? That's right. So Hamlin clearing away pretty easily. There's Logano. See where he exits out. So Logano's done pretty well at getting up through the field here. But I think the top 15 or so made a big mistake in not coming down to pit lane. Let's see, was it Kevin Harvick was the last one? Now Rusty Wallace, the top 13. And that's where you'll want to keep your eye on as well, as those cars are going to be coming up through the field very fast. We'll try to use a wide shot, at least for the first 3 laps maybe, and just keep an eye on them. Bobby Labonte on pit lane, getting repairs, see if he can get back out at any point today. I don't know, that was a really hard hit though into turn 1. Just going 3 wide. You saw his brother there and former rival Dale Jarrett all going for basically 1.5 car widths worth of space. We're about to go back green flag racing next time by. Kyle Larson, your pole sitter, led every lap here so far. Jimmy Johnson on the outside of the first row. Joey Logano's up to 28. He started second, so it's been interesting to keep an eye on that. This restart here, round mid-pack, is going to be just pure chaos. Right here. Actually, I don't have my cursor up, but see, Hamlin and Darrell Waltrip, Alan Kowicki, those guys are going to be coming up quick. Restart. Oh, bad start for Kyle Larson. Making sure we're not getting any penalties for that bad start by Larson. He spun the tires heavily there at the restart zone. Oh my God, 4 wide back there with Denny Hamlin. Just a terrible start for... Just want to make sure again that we are not having any penalties here. Clear. Apologize for being disrupted there, but just want to make sure we weren't going to get any unfortunate penalties to disrupt this race. Rusty Wallace struggling on the inside with all these cars on fresh tires on his outside. You see Hamlin up ahead. We'll get to him. See, he's now working on Gordon and Petty. Kyle Busch looking for somewhere to run. Oh, contact with Hamlin. There's nowhere to hide, though. Looking to run, nowhere to hide. Up to 8th now. The corner speed is just incredible for him. Use the low line. Oh, that was Dale Jr. sideways up there off of 2. There are wall trips now back up here. He pit on lap 34. Now there goes Hamlin to the high side. If he gets there, he's going to pass his cars at an incredible rate of speed. He on the inside was only holding him up. Wall trip up the inside. As I say that, he's able to close the gap pretty quickly. You see how it's single file now in front of him, and he should be able to get around both Yarborough and Stewart pretty fast. Darrell Waltrip almost looking for 3 wide in turn 2. And 50 laps is going to be the number for these cars that did not pit. Give or take, you know, a few laps, but that's going to be your fuel window. And how are you? Oh, we got another caution. I think that was Kurt Busch, perhaps? Oh, and Kevin Harvick. My goodness, what a hit. Harvick in the wall hard. Oof. Nose first on that 29. Looks like Mark Martin gets a little damage. Let's see, here's another shot from the tower. I don't think Kurt Busch got into him. He just shot the track and hard hit. Let's see, who can we check? I think that's Keselowski we'll go with. See that there was contact. There definitely may have been. On board Rusty Wallace. There's that hard hit for Kevin Harvick. My goodness. So at the moment, Harry Gant is your leader. Exiting pit road, Dale Sr. gets out of there first. Big shakeup at the front. Kyle Larson out 5th, it seems. Wow. Bobby Allison, Tony Stewart, Denny Hamlin. Jeff Gordon there, then Kyle Larson. Jimmy Johnson fell back quite a bit. It's a big shakeup here at the front of the field. Can Kyle Larson get back to the front again? And I think I saw Joey Logano in the top 20. We'll take a look in a moment. It looked like he got off pit road pretty early. Richard Petty, 19th. Yikes. What happened there? Kurt Busch back to 22nd. Here's Logano. Up that everybody. He's in 30th. Not doing too well. That pit stop didn't work out in his favor, and pretty much everybody that pit, yeah, everybody pit there except Harry Gant. So that's an interesting play here. See if it works out for Gant, though. I mean, he doesn't have much to lose. He's usually towards the back of the field. And he did pit just 10 laps ago. But with Dale Earnhardt to the outside and fresh tires, this lead will be short-lived. Bobby Labonte back out on track. That's good to see. Now we just have Kevin Harvick on pit lane. 2 cautions so far today. Gonna stick with the more closed-in camera here for this restart, as not gonna be much mixing it up towards the back, I don't imagine. Keep an eye on Dale Earnhardt. Make sure he does not get a penalty. Got it cleared. So Dale Earnhardt now pulling away. He's got a drive-through though. He is going to serve the drive-through. Unbelievable. Creating a hornet's nest, really, back here. And it's really unfortunate for Earnhardt Sr. there. It's just bad timing, but I mean, at least it happened this early in the race. Still got 4/5 of it remaining. Oh, heavy crash! Oh my gosh. Rusty Wallace flipping down the front straightaway. Oh no. What a hit for Rusty Wallace. Involved with 4 wide racing here. Earnhardt Jr. Terry Bobby. Oh, just nowhere to go. And just spun like a top. Bill Elliott gets into him. Oof. Those were some nasty hits. This car is still somehow driving. Tony Stewart, now your leader. Sure who this is. That's Earnhardt Jr. Okay, he has damage. Oh wow, he got into that wall hard as Wallace flipped up over in front of him. Big crash there for Rusty Wallace. Harry Gant still staying out. Maybe trying to get back on the same pit cycle even. Yeah, at this rate, it's possible. Three cautions already today. I must have jinxed it when I talked about being a primarily green flag race. And we have done a couple of practice races at this track specifically and have not come away with this result. You know, so it's very out of the norm to see this many incidents at New Hampshire. Looks like I do see Bobby Labonte still trying to get through the field, so we're going to go ahead and add a lap to this caution when we get by. There should be 1 to go. Okay, we're still under caution, so that's okay. Got our lucky dog many laps down here, 14, but is going to get the wave around. Just want to make sure he's able to and not have any disruption here within the field, gets back lined up. Four cars so far involved in incidents. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte. Having a rough day so far. Add one more lap to this caution flag. Oh, nope, Bobby Labonte is going to head down pit lane. So that clears up that issue. So, Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon starting first and second. Tony Stewart, your winner last week at Michigan, looking to go back-to-back and just say, this is my series here, right off the bat. Take both of them. But Jeff Gordon, quickest in practice. Not any surprise to see him towards the front. Then Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Bobby Allison, and Harry Gant there in 6th place. 10 lap, older tires, but he's going to do what he can. Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch right behind them. Larson led the entire first 40 laps before we had our first caution, and then the second caution they took tires, and the pit stop did not go to plan. Here we are back to go green flag. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon leading the field down. See if we can get some green flag laps here. Back underway. Jeff Gordon takes the field. Tony Stewart, bad start there. Really spun the tires. A lot of 3-wide action towards the back of the field. And Gordon really pulling away. Good thing he did not get that penalty. It was a close call. Stewart now dropped back to 4th, trying to regain his composure in air. 4 wide out there in turn 2. Harry Gant, he's struggling. Kulwicki gets bumped up the track. Comes back down. Another crash. Kulwicki's in hard. He's going to take a few more with him. See Truex and Chase Elliott. You can see that developing. Under caution again. Kulwicki just came back down the track and Gant was there. And then Chase Elliott, Truex, just unfortunate victims. Now, do we see anybody take to pit lane? I don't think we will, except anyone that was maybe involved. Some tire marks there through the grass, right through the pit entry area. Might even be some debris, so something you want to be careful of. Kulwicki, though, has no choice. Heavy damage to the 7 machine. Hendrick teammates now running 1-2. Pseudo Gibbs teammates running 3-4. Hamlin's actual teammate Kyle Busch running right back there in 7th. Had twice in this race now where we have had the 2nd place car actually jump the restart. Something to be aware of if you're that 2nd place car. Let the leader go first. They tend to be spinning their tires as well, and just want to take any doubt out of the official's mind. And all we can do is clear the penalty, but they still get the drive-through. You can see Rusty Wallace coming around here, trying to get back on the lead lap, so we'll probably extend this as before, just one extra lap. And Rusty is 3 laps down, so this will put him only 2 down. Slowly getting him back into the race. You know, he had a rough incident down the front straightaway, really flipping head over heels there. But he'll get around and make it in time. One of the hardest flips we've had this season. And then 2 hard wrecks with Kowicki and Harvick. Bobby Labonte also really hard impact to the outside front right of his car. So the first 60 laps here at New Hampshire have had their moments, certainly. And you got Logano and Earnhardt Sr. trying to make their way back through the field, kind of out of sequence, and we caught out on penalties on restarts. So back to green flag. Watch Jimmy Johnson. Alright, so able to get there before there is no penalty for Jimmy Johnson off of turn number 2. Like he may have jumped the start, but that inside line just not working right now. Tony Stewart, there's Kyle Larson, leader of the first 40 laps of this race, looking to get back out front. Jimmy Johnson's now got about a 1 car length gap to Tony Stewart. Larson focusing in on that pass now. Hamlin holding up the field behind Larson. About 5 car lengths back for 4th. Jeff Gordon going to the outside of Hamlin. He's going to get there. Kyle Busch may follow, or Darrell Waltrip's there too. Hamlin, he's going to start sliding back on that inside lane. Gets back in line. Kyle Busch to the outside of Waltrip. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now exiting the pits in front of the leaders. Got a bit of a gap, so not too much of a concern at the moment. Let's take a look at the field as they make their way off of turn 2. So tight racing back here with Logano. Earnhardt Sr.'s in a lot of trouble back there going 3 wide. Oh, what he wants to see. Oh, contact even back here. Might have got pushed out on that restart. Looking for a way around. Now Kowicki, 3 wide into turn 1. Senior's currently having to deal with. is tough going right now if you're Dale Earnhardt Sr. Back up front, the top three separated by a half second. Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson all nose to tail, and Jeff Gordon, I think he's got an invitation to the party, and he's showing up a little fashionably late. To the back bumper of Larson. About to have the three of the top four cars are going to be great motorsports here. All in frame. Stewart looking to the high side. He's there. And Jimmy's not going to shut the door, so Tony Stewart probably going to take the lead here. Kyle Larson's got the best seat in the house, looking to follow Tony Stewart. Lap 69 in the books here of 250. See, Jimmy just knows he's going to lose this spot. You just fall back in line and you can get back your composure or refocus. That way you're not losing more time to this group behind you guys. So if you look, they're having their own race, and Kyle Busch is now clear of it. They're going to be closing in as well. It'll be like a 5-car battle at the front. Maybe not all 5 will be there, but Jimmy Johnson still there, 4th place. Looks like Ricky Rudd maybe has had a bit of damage. We got another caution. Kevin Harvick slow on track. And out. So maybe the engine. Yep, engine went on the 29. So imagine we'll probably see pit stops again. At least half the field. Had a good run going there, so it's a little unfortunate that we had to come to another caution. Where do they split off at? Harry Gant, he's going to drop in. Mark Martin. Edwards, Davey Allison. You know who I didn't see here? Where's Joey Logano? Okay. There's Dale Sr. Rusty Wallace getting another lap back. This, I believe, puts him only 1 down. It's huge for him. This is now our fifth caution already on the day. Quite eventful at New Hampshire. Quite a few big names have been taken out, honestly. Like, let's take a look here. Harvick, Earnhardt Jr., Chase Elliott, Rusty Wallace. These guys have championship aspirations, you know. We've had other cars with trouble, like Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Joey Logano on restarts, being the car in second, jumping the restart. So Kyle Larson, who we know potentially the fastest car today, now on the outside, going to be risking that restart. And I'm nervous for Larson, honestly. I believe Rusty Wallace just got put another lap down, so we will have to get that cleared up on the next caution. We'll give him an extra lap back. But going back green again, can Tony Stewart get a better jump this time? Oh, that inside line is just brutal. Kyle Larson has a black flag. Oh my. Heavy racing in turns 3 and 4. Larson down pit lane. Big moment. Pole sitter gets the penalty. Time, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, they are first and second here. And go a bit further back and you see Harry Gant heading the charge of cars with fresh tires. Don't know if I thought I'd hear the day that's happening, but Larson half a lap behind the lead. Let's go back to Harry Gant real quick, because this racing is unreal. He's not one of the faster cars, but he has better tires, so it's causing a whole variable here that typically wouldn't exist. But you see he's struggling off of turn 2. He might be coming to pit lane. Something going on there with Harry Gant's car. He stays out. Go back to the front with Kyle Busch. So Yarborough and Richard Petty battling over 4th. Yarborough looks like he might come away with that position. Almost door to door with Petty. On the 1/4 or the 1/3 mark of this race. Yarborough is going to be by Jeff Gordon looking to the outside. Petty trying to get clear off of 4, get back in line, and he will. Down the front stretch. Closing that gap now on to Tony Stewart. Larson, in the meantime, he's still running great laps out there all by himself. I would not be surprised if we're saying his name by the end of this race again. Joey Logano, he's made his way up to 7th after being last, so it is definitely obtainable. Bernard Sr.'s probably committing the same violation. Definitely don't agree with it. Seems to be an issue here at New Hampshire. And even though clearing the black flags does not seem to solve the issue, unfortunately. So here's Joey Logano. Now up to 7, getting by Bobby Allison. Dude is flying, and he's on much. Oh, he's on 45. Okay, so 40 lap tires here. We'll see them in shortly. We do have some cars that pit at 75. So that's why I was lost there for a second. But Harry Gann is one of those cars. He's in 25th right now. See Dale Sr. back there. He's starting to make his way back through the field. And Kyle Larson is closing in on the tail end. Still working that inside line with Bobby Allison. Not the preferred line here at New Hampshire, but if you have a better car or even better tires, you can make it work. Just it's going to take longer, and you are going to use your tires significantly more. At this point, though, they're so far in the run, use what you got. Almost clearing Bobby Allison off of 4. I think he'll get him here in 1 and 2. See him just drive off the corner here. Ton of speed. Got the momentum. Bit of a battle here with Tony Stewart and Kyle Busch beginning to heat up. Tony Stewart looking for a way into 2nd. Last week's winner at Michigan. Logano still struggling to get by Bobby Allison. Pit stops occurring any moment now as well, so a lot about to transpire at New Hampshire. Not a good corner for Stewart. Looks like we got a tight on entry or make the car turn and allow Kyle Busch to pull a bit away. And this could work out really well for Larson as pit stops are taking place here shortly. He should be free and clear almost all the traffic when it's all said and done. Drop back in line behind Bobby Allison, so he's gonna leave that fight for another time. Let's check with Dale Earnhardt. I'm interested to see when he pit. 49, okay. But don't look too much further back. You got Mark Martin. He pit on 74. This is the highest running car that pit most recently. He's running a good 2 to 5 tenths of a second quicker. Looks like Dale Earnhardt Sr. is looking for a way around Darrell Waltrip. Could be for ninth. And back up ahead again to this group of cars. All cycling here for about second place. Tell the tires are really worn. The lap times are falling significantly. Bit of cloud cover helping these guys out. Jimmy Johnson out to a 1 second gap. Yarborough still the fastest lap of the race, 29.371. Interested to see what kind of lap times we get when everybody gets off a pit lane. More spread out. Stop should be taking place any time now. Let's see, 31.3 to a 31.2. That's about a 1/10 a lap, and Jimmy Johnson loves what he sees. Cloudy skies, clear track. Kyle Larson now up to 31st. It's got around a handful of cars since reaching the tail end of the field. Harvick's still on pit lane. I'm not sure he's going to get back out there, but doing what they can to fix the 29 car. And here, like 2nd through 8th are just hanging together, and then you go back, you got Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin. If Mark Martin gets by, he's really going to close in on these front 8 and potentially pass them right as they're making their stops. So here comes Mark Martin to the outside of Earnhardt Sr. He's going to clear, I imagine, off of turn 2. Close to it. Meanwhile, everybody out front staying on track. Nothing changing here. We are just beginning lap 100 of 250. Could potentially be the longest green flag run of this race so far. 1.5 seconds back, we're finally seeing a move for second. Tony Stewart couldn't wait any longer. He did this earlier on Kyle Busch. You know, he was patient and then finally made the move later in the run. It's twice that Tony Stewart has had a bad restart, though, and it's mired him back in the field, and he's had to fight his way back and back to second, but after 30 plus laps on these tires. Mark Martin now closing in on this group of cars. How long until he is there? Harry Gant still in 25th, and Kyle Larson up to 26th. Kyle Larson is on a mission right now. There he goes. goes around here again. So to go to Tony Stewart here. Let's go a little further back to Dale Yarborough. He's trying to get around Kyle Busch now, who just 2 laps ago was trying to move in on second. How quick it changes. Who knows if he was able to get by. Oh no, Tony Stewart got by Kyle. So Kyle's actually sliding back a bit towards the end of this run, as we have seen throughout this race. So no takers to pit lane yet. 50 laps is what we see. But with all the caution flags, obviously been able to extend it significantly. We're coming up on 60 laps on this current run. Really starting to spread out. Jimmy Johnson is able to see lap cars on his frontage. But here come the pit stops. Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. These guys all coming down. Kyle Yarborough staying out. So is Jeff Gordon, Richard Petty, Bobby Allison. They're all staying out. See how stops go for our leaders. Cale Yarborough for the time being. Imagine he'll be in this next time by. We'll go check with the Rose team. And there it's up Yarborough, Gordon, Petty, Bobby Allison. They're all coming. Mark Martin staying out. He's going to be your new leader. There's Jimmy. He's on pit lane. Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, they're leaving. Kyle Larson. He's trying to make it into his box. Almost contact with Kyle Busch. There's Tony Stewart. Mark Martin, now your leader, right behind Stewart. Excuse me. Cale Yarborough getting his work done. Also got Petty and Bobby Allison. There goes Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Johnson just going by. There's Tony Stewart. Quite a bit of a shake-up here. A lot of cars falling back on the... It stopped a lap later. Seems like the wrong strategy. If they want to get in sooner. So here comes Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart. There's Cale Yarborough, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Earnhardt, Bobby Allison, Joey Logano, Richard Petty. However, these guys are still laps down. Your current leader is actually Mark Martin, then Alan Kulwicki, Carl Edwards. That's your top 3. Martin out front by about 6.5 seconds. And quite a few cars are on this strategy and can make it to about 125 at least. So another 15 laps. So we go back to Carl Edwards. It looks like he's having a bit of a battle with Davey Allison. That is going to be for 3rd. Brad Keselowski goes around the outside. Truex Jr. rounding out the top 5. Excuse me. We are closing in quickly on the halfway point. Davey Allison got his teammate behind him and Dale Jarrett. Gonna go around. You see Kyle Larson. He's here, 1 lap down still. Oh, what a pass there through the middle around Biffle. Shoots the gap and is now going to close on Dale Jarrett. Larson is very quick right now. Up to 31st. He's going to be up further once a lot of these other cars finally make their stop. But that is still a ways off. Another 10 laps at least. And Mark Martin just kind of on cruise control. Take a look at him here for a moment. Quickest lap at 29.869. Had a good race last week at Michigan, finishing in the top 10. Comes Denny Hamlin trying to get his lap back. Followed by Kurt Busch and Taylor Waltrip as well. Up ahead here, see some of our leaders are facing. Kyle Busch, Cale Yarborough, a lot of traffic here. Jeff Gordon. Traffic down the back straightaway here. Not our leaders at this exact moment, but once the pit cycles all filter through, these guys will be in the top 5. Jimmy Johnson far clear this battle, as is Tony Stewart. Get through. Kyle Busch really got pinned to the outside here. Now contact almost sends Earnhardt into Kyle Busch. Really checking up here. Kyle Busch up the middle. Almost contact with Neil Bonnet. Through the middle. Trying to force the issue there. Joey Logano, he's right with the lead group again. Unbelievable. Initial start of the race, he was caught speeding. Or he was caught accelerating before the leader. I still didn't agree with him. We were not able to clear his penalty. What happens if he gets stuck on the inside here. Richard Petty, Bobby Allison, Dale Earnhardt all go up by Neil Bonnet on the inside. Freight train. Here comes Ernie Irvan. Making his stop. Logano looking to the inside of Waltrip. He's got the car pitting there. Oh my, close call, but they make it work. So Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki still haven't made their stops. So we can find Jimmy Johnson. How far back is he of Tony Stewart? 1.5. Cale Yarborough trying to get back to Jimmy Johnson after all that traffic. Tony Stewart closing in on Kowicki. This is for second. Kowicki had a wreck early on in this race and has been able to manage a pretty good run out of it. I mean, considering he's even in the conversation of a top 5, all that offensive strategy is insane. But Mark Martin, he's on pit lane. Leader is to pit lane, as is Kowicki, who's now in third. Tony Stewart will inherit the lead here in a moment. And now put Jimmy Johnson second, Cale Yarborough third. Tony Stewart again to the lead. Here we go, lap 123. And now it's going to be very interesting to see where the likes of Kyle Larson filter in. Logano, Dale Sr. Those storylines have been throughout this whole first half of the race. We still got another half to go as we are right on the halfway point. Next lap will be lap 125. We'll be left with 125 to go. Stewart looking quick again. Winner last week at Michigan. Does anybody have anything for the Home Depot Toyota Camry? Last pit on 106, so can make it to 156. Kowicki, the first car a lap down. Carl Edwards, I'm seeing now. You know, this is turning into a phenomenal run for Tony Stewart. Great drive. Check with Joey Logano. He's up to 6th place. He was last on the first lap. He's got Dale Sr. there in 7th. Both of these guys have faced penalties for jumping the restart. So both in the top 10. Now, check is Kyle Larson up to 18th. It's got Mark Martin ahead on fresher tires. Excuse me. You could probably catch a few of these guys though, like David Pearson and Harry Gant. Harry Gant actually pitting right now. So Larson now up to even 17. Go back to Jimmy Johnson. He's getting some pressure from Alan Kowicki on pressure tires. Then you got Cale Yarborough and Davey Allison going at it a bit. See if we can find any battles on track. Here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9. Logano, Petty, Bobby Allison, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Best battle on track. Looks like Logano might be pulling away a bit. 31.4, just so slightly quicker than Richard Petty. So Logano will try to track down Kyle Busch for 5th. About 3 seconds up the road. Well, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Seems like he's found another gear, looking for a way around Bobby Allison. Now 120 laps remaining. You start thinking about those final pit stops. You start planning those out now. If you're these guys here at the front can make it to 155, that means 2 more stops is all you need. Dale Earnhardt looking a bit on the inside, letting Bobby Allison know that he's got his front bumper there and looking. And if you don't want to see any bumper there, it's going to be the black number 3. That was an intimidating chrome horn. Quite a few cars now down at this point, as we do have some different strategies even playing out here. Wow, Kevin Harvick is actually back out on track. Am I seeing this right? He had a blown engine. Well, Tony Stewart still leads. He's got Jimmy Johnson about 3 cars in between. These guys are quicker though. Fresher tires, a lot of cars around Stewart and Jimmy Johnson at the moment. So it's definitely an interesting mix of speed here. Because you have cars that are battling for about 20th that are quicker than the cars that are currently in the lead. Interesting dynamic. Then you go back. It's about 4 seconds from the lead. Jeff Gordon and Cale Yarborough, they're working it out for a 3rd and 4th, seeing if Yarborough can maybe tap into the podium. Is really pinching on Gordon here. He's not in a comfortable spot with these lap cars. Dale Jr. many laps down. Gets to the outside. This will allow Cale Yarborough to get that gap closed up real quick. See Kevin Harvick, fresher tires. Bobby Allison, Richard Petty, Earnhardt, and then Logano leading this pack. 4 cars, really all very equally paced. Logano maybe quicker, especially on new tires. At this point in the run, these guys are all running very similar laps. Oh, there we go. Pass potentially. Earnhardt around Bobby Allison. He's going to get there. And it looks like Chase Elliott may follow through. He's just trying to make up as many positions as he can before this is over. Can serve as many points. limit the loss, you could say. And there goes Chase Elliott now around Dale Sr. Sr. knows he's got enough speed to stay in front of Bobby Allison, so no point in fighting Chase at this juncture. Closing in about 10 laps, I would say, is when you may see that window open. Actually, it would open certainly in 10 laps, as then there would only be a one-stop race from there. Tony Stewart got 1.1 over Jimmy Johnson. Carl Edwards trying to hold off Jimmy. Sees the last car a lap down, or the first car a lap down, trying to get that lucky dog. Next car would be Kowicki, and then got David Pearson and Kyle Larson. And they are quite a ways up the track from Tony Stewart. And Jimmy finally gets clear of Carl Edwards. Does Jimmy have anything left for Tony Stewart? Much quicker on that lap. I think we're going to see even a bigger chunk taken out this time around. Seems Jimmy is just getting into the corners at a much quicker rate. Wow. He is a lot faster than Stewart at this point. Let's see, 31.6. Yeah, half a second that time by. It's closing in a hurry for the lead. And Jimmy's probably going to get there right as we hit our pit window. So do you want to spend much time behind Tony Stewart, or do you want to just get to your pit window and try to make up the laps where he's still out on track? Well, I think that might be the play. Now 0.4 is the gap, 0.3, 0.2. Got Kevin Harvick, maybe the fastest car on track, closing in on these guys. Running 40th, 70 laps down. I tell you, that is pure stock car championship racing, though. Never give up attitude. You see into the corners where Jimmy is making up all of his time. Under 1/10 of a second now, off of turn 2. Is he going to make the pass into turn 3 on the inside? He's looking. But Harvick's going to get to Jimmy's outside. Ruins his momentum. And now he'll probably get to the outside of Stewart here. Should be able to clear rather quickly, and this will bring the battle back between Home Depot and Lowe's, the home improvement stores here, going at it at New Hampshire. Johnson to the outside. He's there outside of 3 and 4. Gonna have the momentum. Jimmy Johnson leads lap 149. What a battle up front. Not over yet either. You know, we still have these pit stops, and that can change everything in a heartbeat. Stewart slots back in. Try to just log laps until he gets his new tires on and hope he can make up time that way. Both cars pit at the exact same lap last time on 106. we go. 100 laps remain. Leaders crossing the start-finish line. It is the witching hour here at New Hampshire. Clock is ticking. Who's going to make the move that wins this race? Gordon and Yarborough are closing on the lead, so don't count them out. Can Tony Stewart get his car back on track? He got passed pretty easily by Jimmy Johnson, and once Jimmy gets the lead, it's not often he gives it back. Mark Martin up to 6th after his pit stop, so see that coming back into his favor towards the end of this run. Kowicki, meanwhile, to 16th. Quite a ways for him to start. Kyle Larson is in 17th, just up ahead of the lead. Gap now 0.8 to Tony Stewart, and then Jeff Gordon now has the lead gap now under 3 seconds. So Jeff Gordon showing a lot of speed here towards the end of the race at the right time. Here we go, Jimmy Johnson. I think this is a pit stop here. He's looking very low. Just a defensive line there with Bubba Wallace, I guess. I thought for sure that was it. Jimmy now clear of the McDonald's 23, Bubba Wallace. Already 34th today. Bit of a modest run. Not what Wallace was hoping for, but there will be plenty of opportunity this season. Pulling away now, Jimmy Johnson with a 1 second gap. And even extending now on Gordon a little bit. Do we see him make the turn here? Yep, this one's signaling. Now he's going with Tony Stewart. So let's check these pit stops, because this is potentially for the win. Jimmy Johnson gets the pit lane. Tony Stewart's with them. Gordon's staying out. So is Yarborough. Both cars pitted at the end of the pit lane. Both hitting their boxes at about the same time. See Kyle Busch as well. Joey Logano. Oh, he gets away about a second clear of Tony Stewart. Massive stop there. Now Jeff Gordon. Almost an incident there with Carl Edwards. I think Gordon's trying to get to pit lane. Carl Edwards is in his way. Oh my. Gordon's staying out a whole nother lap. And the gap between Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart is now significant. Maybe 3 seconds. Here comes Gordon. Interested to see where Heath blends back out with Cale Yarborough, because Yarborough pit when he wanted to. Meanwhile, Gordon was kind of hung out to dry. So let's see how Gordon does. Matching up with Cale Yarborough. That could be a top 5 on the line here. Get back up to Mark Martin in just a moment. The interesting thing here about Yarborough, about Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, these guys are on the lead lap. They have nothing to worry about here regarding being a lap down or caught out. There's Gordon on the inside of on the apron. So Yarborough makes up a spot as Gordon got stuck out on Carl Edwards. We're on lap 162. The speed slowing down significantly now here for Mark Martin as Joey Logano looks to get back on the lead lap. Heavy braking. Make sure he's going to get that done. Bobby Allison's there. Dale Sr. is there. The speed difference is just incredible. Oh, Mark Martin goes a bit high. Loses grip almost out to the gray stuff. He's got an 8-second lead now on Alan Kowicki. And then it's Jimmy Johnson. They are only 9.7 back of Mark Martin. Closing quickly. Understand though, after pit stops, we do have some debris off of turn 2 on the access road. And this is going to force a caution. Mark Martin, your leader, as the caution comes out on lap 165 of 250. We have 85 laps to go as they cross the line right there. I imagine Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki will be the pit lane. Will we see anybody else though? Tires are important, but are they worth the track position that you end up losing? We will have 13 cars, I believe, on the lead lap. Maybe more once they cycle around. Let's see how Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki play this. Martin's down, so Richard will get his lap back organically. And Rusty Wallace is going to get an extra lap back, don't forget. So he's not the lucky dog yet. I believe that's going to go to Terry Labonte. Rusty Wallace will get a lap back regardless of how this plays out. Excuse me. So now these cars in front of Jimmy Johnson should get their lap back. Could have an extended caution here just to make sure we get everything ironed out smoothly. So now we'll get the one to go this time by. Everything seems to be in order. You see Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki. They've cycled through pretty well, all things considered here. And now have 8 to 10 lap fresher tires. That is going to be interesting to watch. And we have seen all day the issues at the front of the field with the restarts. Tony Stewart has to be on point here for this restart. He's probably going to get the lead, but just has to make sure he doesn't jump it, and he could potentially win this race. We'll have 80 laps to go exactly as we cross the line. Pace car is off. Potentially the last restart of the race. Green flags in the air. Here we go. Good restart for Jimmy Johnson. And also Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart, he did jump it. They're going to give him the black flag. But is Jimmy Johnson going to allow him to get down? Unbelievable. Tony Stewart's going to get the black flag here. Now Gordon and Jimmy Johnson battle it out. Looked like a good start to me. Now first and second, Hendrick cars, Joey Logano in third. He had a restart penalty at the beginning of this race. Dale Sr.'s there. He's been in the same boat. Mark Martin and Alan Kowicki have fresh tires. Kowicki was in a crash earlier. This is just madness. And here comes Mark Martin. Freshest tires of the top 5. Jeff Gordon to the lead. And Bobby Allison looking for second. Looks like Jimmy's going to hold off potentially. Nope. Bobby Allison's going to get there again off of 4. What a tough break for Tony Stewart. And his race is not over yet, but definitely takes a big hit there. He's going to need caution to get back into it. I've not seen this issue at other tracks yet, so hopefully it's something that's just limited to New Hampshire. But it looked like a very clean start. Just too bad that happened to Tony Stewart. Ooh, Martin gets sideways. Mark Martin looking now for 4th and might have it off of turn 4. Nope. Logano holds it. Martin's got the tires to accelerate. Now moving for the top 3. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Allison, Jimmy Johnson, and Mark Martin. That's who you gotta watch out for. The gaps up front are close. Side by side now at the front. Can Bobby Allison get by Jimmy Johnson get by Bobby Allison? You know, Jimmy has potentially the fastest car here. Got by Tony Stewart and drove away before that last caution and just kind of got stuck out on the restart. You see Jimmy now clear into turn 1. This is it. 1st, 2nd, and I would say 3rd's in it, but 4th is the battles. That's the 3 cars that have a chance. Gordon, Johnson, and Mark Martin. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart still closing in on the tail end of the field. Looks like we got one of our cars, Dale Jr. in the pit lane. Mark Martin's kind of stalled out a bit. Doesn't have the pure pace to maybe battle here for the win, but the tires, he's definitely got a quick car. So see what happens later in this race on that final stint. Does he hit later and have fresher tires for the end? In fact, Yarborough now looking for a way around. While this is happening, Jimmy is closing on Gordon. Similar to how he hunted down Tony Stewart. Here we go into turn 1. That entry is just so much more speed. 0.2 of a second quicker that time by. These are teammates, 1st and 2nd. Both coming away with top 5s last week at Michigan. Gonna back that up with 1-2 at New Hampshire. An incredible feat. Under 70 laps remaining, 69 to go. Johnson looking inside. Is Gordon going to give him the open lane? No. If you're Gordon, you might even want to consider giving him the inside. Because the outside is game, set, and match. And here goes Jimmy Johnson. He's going to lead that lap. 183, mark it down. Johnson takes the lead, and I imagine does not look back. Bobby Allison's in third. Martin has slipped back to sixth. As Cale Yarborough and Joey Logano have made their way around. You see Jimmy Johnson now about to finish this pass off, maybe in the next lap. But Jeff Gordon not going to make it easy. Bobby Allison closing in. Interesting to see if we maybe hit lap traffic at all before this race is said and done. Speaking of, Tony Stewart has made his way to the tail end of the field. And next car on his list, looks like a corner ahead of him. He's just coming off for 2 or 3 seconds the gap for Tony Stewart to get up to 17. Jimmy Johnson clears Jeff Gordon. Is that the pass for the lead, or the pass for the win even? Here at New Hampshire. The fastest car in the second half of this race, I think without a doubt, has been Jimmy Johnson. Well, we have a moment, and things have calmed down up front. Let's see if we can find Kyle Larson. Running 12. He was the fastest of the first half of this race. Pole sitter. Had a bad pit stop, and just wasn't able to kind of regroup. And then, aside from that, had one of those restart penalties, and ever since just been fighting and fighting. Final stanza of this event. Larson is racing Kenseth here, so getting around Michael Waltrip is imperative for him. Get back to the front again. See a bit of a gap form from Gordon to Jimmy Johnson, so we'll fall into the battle for third as Cale Yarborough has really gotten to the back bumper of Bobby Allison. Logano gonna be thrilled with fifth if he can finish there, considering how his race started. It wasn't even lap one where he got a penalty. Appears Cale Yarborough is definitely quicker, but this Bobby Allison's using that higher line and prevents Yarborough from getting the momentum and the run that he needs. If you're Yarborough, I think you just gotta make it happen. Kyle Busch gonna go the outside of Mark Martin off turn 2. Dale Sr. likely to follow. And you see back there, just off of this group, is Alan Kulwicki, who's actually on the same strategy as Mark Martin. This car is just not as quick as the leaders, but did their best and really a valiant effort coming away with potential top 10s. In Kulwicki's case, he even wrecked earlier quite heavily, so to be in his position is totally unexpected. Mark Martin will lose this position as well. Just keep moving up through the top 5 again until we get back to the front. See Kyle Busch, we know he's quick. Does he have enough to get around Yarborough and Bobby Allison? I would say yes. He is all over the rear bumper here. And he's going to get there down the front straightaway looking for fourth. There's plenty of time in this race where Kyle Busch gets around for third. He can really track down the lead. Looks like he might have the speed to do it. Just been kind of hanging out here behind these slower cars, maybe saving tires even while running a bit off pace compared to what he knows he's capable of. And this is third. Kyle Busch, he's coming. And we're at just about 50 laps to go. I think if Kyle gets to Gordon, that'll be pretty quick work. We may get there right around when we have pit stops. So 31.6 last time by for both of these guys. 31.8, 31.4, and that was with traffic. Kyle Busch is flying. Fastest car on track. It's got about 2/3 of a straightaway to Jimmy Johnson, and maybe 1/3 of a straightaway to Jeff Gordon. Yarborough moving into fourth. You know he's going to be quick. I don't know if he's quick enough for these top three. Look at this. Kyle Busch actually pit later. He's got fresher tires by 6 to 10 laps. Very interesting developments here. Pretty sure that's when Mark Martin and Alan Kulwicki pit as well. See Mark Martin not losing touch with the group. Once we get to, I would say, any time now, this will get you to the end of the race. If you pit here, you're good. Jimmy Johnson continues to pull away. 31.6, 31.9, 31.7. So about a tenth of a second per lap for Kyle Busch. And still has to get around Jeff Gordon. Let's go on board with Kyle Busch real quick before he gets around. On board the M&M's Toyota Camry. You see Jimmy Johnson just up ahead, some lap traffic even peeking in. Picture. What Kyle's going to want to do is get down here, maybe run low, but you want to get to the high side there off the exit. So it's close down the spike straightaway. This might force Kyle to go high. But he's going to stick with the low side. So you can just force it in here in turn one, maybe. Gordon holds it off. Seals it off. Oh, contact! Oh my! Cale Yarborough right behind these guys. Jeff Gordon just sealing off that high line, not allowing Kyle Busch to get the run he wants. And this has opened up a 2.7 second, 3 second gap now to first place. Kyle now looking high side. He's not going to give it up here. He's staying high. But Gordon stays high too. Just can't get it done here. Tuck back in and try the high side. Whew. Again, close battle. Almost touch. Kyle Busch has just got to be going crazy right now. He knows that pit stops are coming up, but his opportunity to get the win is closing quickly. Is he there? No! I have not seen anyone defend the outside like Gordon is here all day long. Masterfully. And now you got Yarborough. He's going to be here on the high side looking for third on Kyle Busch. Kyle's got to be thinking, oh my god, all this work. And for nothing. He's there again. He's going to try to say hi. Where's Gordon to go low? Can't do it. Now Kale's going to look low on Kyle. This might force Kyle to stay high, and he might actually benefit and make the pass now. He just lost grip entering turn 3. Now 4 seconds back. There are lap cars even now between second and the leader. This is the battle. On track, nothing to see elsewhere. And if Kyle gets by, he could potentially race for the lead. There we go. That's going to maybe clear him into turn 2, actually. That's what Kyle needed. He sent it. Kale Yarborough went sideways. See Joey Logano and Mark Martin falling off this pack a little bit. And now that Kyle Busch will get back into his groove, let's see how these gaps perform. Let's go ahead and get back up to Jimmy Johnson. Currently running right behind Jeff Burton. This is going to be a significantly slower lap. Being held up a lot there in the entrance of 3 where Jimmy typically makes up most of his time, 32.1. 31.8. So only 3/10 on that lap. He may have caught Burton there towards the end. Let's see what he does on this side. Wow. Nowhere to go right now for the champ. 32.1. But 32.4. And a 31.9. That's 5/10. That's half a second now. It's going to close quickly. Cloud cover now falls over the track with the 40 laps to go this time by. Here again, had a moment in the midpoint of this race where he was looking like maybe a top 10, but didn't pan out all the way. Wow, Kyle is closing quickly. He's back here. He's going to make it 3 wide, isn't he? There he goes. Kyle Busch. He knows time is running out. A 32.2 last time by to a 32.3. We have a caution. Caution on track. Oh my. Dale Jarrett, Terry Labonte, these guys were involved earlier. 3 wide again. Bill Elliott. More to go. Oh. They both just find the turn 3 wall. Do they get back going? No, they both cancel out back to pit lane. Now, this changes everything. Everybody's gonna pit. Denny Hamlin, Rusty Wallace. I'm not sure Denny. Okay, yeah, Denny Hamlin was not on the lead lap. So we should see Jimmy Johnson exit pit lane here pretty easily with the lead. Gordon second. So Kyle Busch losing spots. He lost 3 spots. Earnhardt losing a few. There's Tony Stewart back in contention somewhat. At least running with the leaders again. Poor Rusty Wallace, we forgot to get him his lap back on the last caution. We'll try to do that this time. But now you got Jeff Gordon in second. You gotta hope, if you're Jeff Gordon, you do not jump this start. You've had a fantastic race. Cannot throw it away here this late. And we're coming up on 35 laps remaining. And if we need to add a lap here, we may need to do so. Cars get lined up. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and throw one more caution flag on this. Rusty Wallace still trying to get back on the lead lap. Or get one of his laps back. Meant to do that 2 cautions ago, but he just got hung out when he got the lucky dog. He was making a pit stop and then got lapped again. So should correct that. And we'll get back to green flag racing here in a moment. Hendrick horsepower really been dominant today. Larson on pole, led much of the first 50 laps, and then it's been Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon really aside from that. And maybe Tony Stewart was another car that showed a lot of speed, but it's been a handful of drivers. Hey, Kyle Busch, this restart is going to be crucial Like we've mentioned, we've had penalties on the restart. But it's always taken place with the second place car. It hasn't happened every time, so hopefully we can avoid it and get a clean finish. Lost Earnhardt Jr., Logano, Kyle Larson, Tony Stewart, all been victims to this penalty. We'll check it right after the green flag goes in the air. Make sure, regardless of what happens, Gordon does not have one. Looks like he was okay. He had black flags, he did. Bobby Allison's going to be the leader. Gordon is going to go to pit lane. Kowicki second. Oh no. Heartbreak Hotel. Something to remember for next time we come to this track. Tight racing here for about 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Can Jimmy Johnson get back to the lead here in less than 30 laps? Just about 30 laps. And have we seen our last caution? We got guys back there 3 wide. Now Dale Sr. has made his way into 3rd. He hasn't been up here all day. Oh, we do have a caution. Oh my. Oh, got the back of Quint Boyer and just into the wall they go. So, bit of a break for Jeff Gordon as he'll get back into a line with all the leaders, but the damage has been done. Ken Schrader, Dave Pearson involved in that last incident. You see all the damage here on Alan Kowicki's car. The wreck he had in the first half of this race. Just him and Harry Gant came together and also took out Chase Elliott. I believe Martin Truex was involved in that one. Surprised this car is even still running at the contact he had with the outside wall. Bobby Allison, he's been top 5 all day long. I think he's maybe been locked in 5th position even. So for him to be up here at this juncture is no coincidence. And all it took, is we had the mistake again on the restart, spun the tires, and that allowed, Gordon to get the penalty, and Johnson fell back. Now Johnson's going to restart on the outside. So can he make his way to 2nd here on the restart, potentially win this race? This is our 7th or 8th caution of the day. We had 4 or 5 within the first 70 laps. So it's been nice to have some clean racing towards the tail end of this race, but really mixing it up here at the end and unsure what we're going to see in these final 30 laps. cars now line back up. See Bobby Allison and Alan Kowicki on the front row. Kowicki's going to have to watch that restart. We've seen it, like I said, all day long. Dale Sr. and Jimmy Johnson on the second row. Jimmy's got to be careful too. Even in the second row, you can get that penalty. Cale Yarborough and Kyle Busch bring up the third row. Mark Martin and Richard Petty, and then Matt Kenseth. And did I see Davey Allison in 10th place? Unbelievable. What a run for Davey Allison. We're about to go back. Green flag racing. Pace car will pull off. We'll check that we don't have any penalties right as we get to turn 1 and 2, so don't mind the menu screen here. And away we go. Bad start for Bobby Allison. No penalties. We are clear. It's a bad start for Bobby Allison. Sometimes they throw it, sometimes they don't. And now they are 3 wide into 3. That's Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Mark Martin. And you got Jimmy Johnson going for the lead. To the lead here, lap 225. On Alan Kowicki, got Cale Yarborough in 3rd. Joey Logano in 4th. Tight battle back through the field. I think if anybody's got the speed for Jimmy Johnson, it's that 18 car in 4th place. See if he can get around Kowicki here in 1 and 2 and then try to pass Yarborough at the earliest opportunity he can find. And clear of the slower car in Kowicki. Bobby Allison now back to 5th on that restart. Just brutal. And meanwhile, Kyle Busch couldn't complete the pass on Kowicki. So now it's just Cale, really, that is clear and going to try to track down Jimmy Johnson. Kyle gets by there into turn 3, into 3rd. Saw Jeff Gordon and Kyle Larson in the back of the pack, 14th and 15th. Dale Sr. now trying to get 4th on Kowicki. It's really a battle between the top 3, I think. This is really winding down rapidly. Under 25 to go. Let's see what these lap times provide. 0.2 of a second quicker that lap was Cale Yarborough. So was Kyle Busch. Both Yarborough and Kyle Busch are quicker. Yarborough, fastest car of the race. I think we mentioned at the beginning, only car to break the 29.4, and I haven't seen anyone do it to this point. Cale's getting good run off the corner. He's diamonding the apex. See, Jimmy stays a little more traditional to a line right between the dots while Yarborough lets it drift up and come back down on the exit. Kyle Busch mimicking that in 3rd as there are 20 laps to go. 30.5, 30.6, 30.5, your top 3. 30.4 for Dale Earnhardt Sr. Even Richard Petty, he's flying. He's right there. 20 laps to go. We have the top 5 all right here, under 1.5 seconds. Can Jimmy hold off Cale? Jeff Gordon back there. He's about to puncture the top 10 again after his mishap. Tony Stewart. A lot of those guys have every right to feel slighted. You know, they have great cars. Stewart and Gordon, and especially Larson. He was on the pole. These guys just did not get a break. Cale Yarborough kind of stalling out here behind Jimmy Johnson, and I don't see any advancement from Kyle Busch or Dale Sr., Richard Petty, unless we have some critical tire fall off in the next 10 laps. It's going to be hard to get by each other, how equally paced these cars are. Down to turn 1. Clouds sink. The sun sinks a little lower and the clouds cover the whole track for the time being. So to keep an eye here on Dale Sr. and Richard Petty, if Petty can maybe make a move. If he can get to Earnhardt's right rear, maybe make a pass, could crack the top 3 by the time it's all said and done. Back up front though, Cale Yarborough continues his pursuit. Slightly quicker that last time by, but not by much. He's going to need to find about, I'd say, a 10th a lap at this point. He needs some major in-grounds to be made. It's one thing to get there. You still got to make the pass, you know. And if you're not able to get to the outside and you're only trying to work the inside like Richard Petty is a little further back, you're maybe not even going to make the pass at all. So you got to get there. And once he does, or if he does, that's going to open the door for Kyle Busch. They'll close right in. Will it come to be? Had a great finish at Michigan last week. Tony Stewart came away with the victory there. Currently running in 10th. I don't imagine he'll get the win today, but we'll see our second winner in the Stock Car Championship Series. Pulling away now. Gordon, he's up to 8th. Good run. He's closing in on Logano for 7th. Larson got up to 10th, actually, in front of Tony Stewart, who's now 11th. Mark Martin really dropped now to 13th. You see Yarborough just losing a bit of speed here. Not quite what he had at the beginning of the run. And then we got Petty looking for any which way around Dale Earnhardt. By any which way, he's really only looked to the inside. He needs to explore that high line if he wants to get this done. There he goes. I think he's there. Earnhardt blocked the inside, and Petty kind of feigned allowing that outside to open up. And he is going to be 4th place here shortly. Nice run off the corner for the King. Clear of the Intimidator. And the battle again focuses at the front. Can Petty maybe close up for 3rd here in the last 8.5 laps? Bobby Allison's going to get around Earnhardt. We were talking about Bobby Allison being in the top 5 all day. This other guy here, Cale Yarborough, he was about top 3 or 4 all day. So if anyone was more consistent, it would have been Yarborough. And many of these drivers had to face adversity. Those that didn't, though, Jimmy Johnson, Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch, Richard Petty, Dale Sr., these guys all had trouble. And you see Kyle really closing here. Final 10 laps. Does he have enough to get around for 2nd? He's closing it though. I think he knows Richard Petty got around for 4th. Kyle's car really coming in here at this point of the run. It's too bad he wasn't this quick maybe 10, 15 laps ago. Maybe would have had something for Jimmy. Off of turn 2. Five laps remain. Jimmy Johnson 1 second out front. Four to go. Dale Earnhardt trying to hold on back there for 6th. He's got pressure from Logano and Jeff Gordon. That is not over back there. And now 3 to go. Jimmy Johnson about has this one wrapped up. Continues to pull away. One and a half seconds now into turn 3. And I have 2 laps remaining. And it's really now who's going to fill out the podium. Because Richard Petty's there. Will Yarborough even be in the top 3 when it's said and done? 2 to go. Lap traffic entering turn 3. 3 seconds up ahead. Not a concern for Jimmy Johnson. He's about to get the white flag here at New Hampshire. White flag in the air. Jimmy Johnson, 1 lap to go. Perfectly done. Executed start to finish here. Jimmy Johnson, no mistakes. Did not get caught with a penalty when he had his opportunity starting 2nd. And he will win here at New Hampshire. his first win in the Stock Car Championship Series. Second place, Cale Yarborough. Third, Kyle Busch. Fourth, Richard Petty. Fifth, Bobby Allison. What a win for Jimmy Johnson and the 48 team. Leading a ton of laps today and coming home with the win. Gotta be a great feeling for Team Hendrick. Quite a few cars with damage. 34th, Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, Chase Elliott, Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte, and Kevin Harvick. All with significant issues today. But here's your winner, Jimmy Johnson at New Hampshire. Dale Earnhardt, Joey Logano, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Larson, and Tony Stewart round out the top 10 today. Lots of cars with issues that they had to fight back from. Was a very spirited performance for Jimmy Johnson. He started third, finished first, Yarborough fourth. Everybody in the top 7, actually, everybody in the top 10 finished in the top 10. Incredible considering all of the issues many of those cars had. But we're able to make it up on pit stops and cautions. Let's see if we can find a hard charger, potentially Alan Kowicki here. Carl Edwards up 11. Pearson fell back 12. Harvick just not a good day. That huge wreck. 2 wrecks and blew an engine. Here is your winner one more time for Jimmy Johnson at New Hampshire. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. We'll get the points updated for next week's race, which is at Watkins Glen. We will be including the boot, so that will be fun. Our first road course of the year. That'll be round 3. And this should put Jimmy Johnson into the lead of the points when it's all said and done. So Cale Yarborough, I believe, will be second in the championship. See if I can maybe gauge who will be third. I would have to say probably Kyle Busch. So that's what it's looking like. Jimmy Johnson, Cale Yarborough, Kyle Busch, your top 3 in points as they finished here today at New Hampshire. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Make sure to subscribe or follow. That way you get the alert when we go live. And always make sure to tune back for any races you may have missed. We'll have them all recorded here on YouTube. Until then, you guys have a great rest of your evening and see you next time.